All right, what's going on, guys? It's Luke here. This is how I'm going to be trading the week of March 2nd to the 6th, 2026. I'm actually redoing this video because I filmed it earlier in the weekend and then that war news came out and I figured I should probably redo it because it's a little bit of a different outlook now. But this is what I did have marked down on my charts. But anyway, I'm going to go through NQ and ES and then I'll go through how I'm approaching every single day, day by day for the news. So coming into the day, or not coming into the day. Starting out on the monthly, we obviously got a bearish close on the monthly. I'm gonna run through the basics here, and then I'll go into like kind of the scenario with the news, like what I'm expecting. So, as you can see, we did get a monthly close on the bearish close on the monthly on NQ. We look at the weekly. The weekly really has not been doing too much. As you can see, we still just been ranging. We did get this indecisive close here on the weekly. Going over to the daily, as you can see, we had this bearish SMT. We did get this move down. We do have LR below, which again, I'm going to get into this because we're getting that new week opening gap. And we have draws and liquidity lower. So again, this is what I had marked out at the start of the weekend before all this stuff happened. I had this daily high up here, previous week's high, previous week's low. I had these weekly lows, these daily lows, and then again, we can probably add some more of the sell side, but I'm going to go over to ES really quick. ES is pretty much doing the same thing. We look on the monthly, we obviously got a bearish close on the monthly. We look over to the weekly again really has not been doing too much. It's just been ranging. So again, same thing with the daily, just been ranging like crazy. February has not been the cleanest price action. I don't think it's been bad. Obviously I've been winning, but like it hasn't been the greatest. I know a lot of people have been struggling. We did get this bearish SMT sending price down. Now for sell side, again marked out, I had previous week's low, this weekly low, and this daily low. And then for buy side, I had previous week's high and this daily high right here. So again, everything kind of changes when you do have like war news like this. We are going to get a massive gap down. And what I'm expecting this week coming up, I'll probably go more in depth on this at short form content like Reels and TikTok and shorts, like YouTube shorts and whatever. But what I'm expecting basically is obviously metals like gold, silver to pump because people are going to get fearful and they're going to put money in those type of assets. I do expect we do get some type of move up on those, obviously. But even though that's usually just what happens basically. So, but for NQ, what I'm expecting is obviously a huge gap to the downside, and I'm leaning obviously more bearish on the week, but I do think, and if you guys have paid attention to a lot of news, war news, what will happen a lot of times is we'll get a sweep and we'll just keep going back to the upside, which could obviously potentially happen. As you guys know, all these war events always happen on a Friday. We get the gap down and then eventually we get a move down and we get a sweep and then we just continue back to the upside to all-time highs. So this could be a potential scenario we could be really watching. It's kind of hard to do analysis when we do have a situation like this. We don't know how far we're going to gap down, but all I can say right now is we have this low resistance liquidity. We're likely just going to run through all of this. And we obviously have a ton of continued sell side draws here. So it depends really how far we want to move down, right? So one thing you could watch for, I don't think we're going to run this far down. We do have this monthly gap right here, but on the higher time frame on the weekly, we do have this weekly low right here. We have this weekly low right here. We have this weekly low right here. So you could continue marking out these sell side draws if we do want to sell off that aggressively. I'm not 100% sure how far we're going to sell off, but I obviously expect us to run through this low resistance liquidity. And then from there, you're just going to have to kind of assess from there. So basically, one of two scenarios: we gap down, we keep displacing lower, and then we just keep continuing to draw out more sell side. Now, I'm not sure. I honestly expect that we get a move down. We gap down lower, we flush out some liquidity, and then we continue back to the upside and potentially be pushed towards all-time highs. Honestly, it's really going to depend. So it's hard to, like I said, do analysis on this, but this is what I had marked out on my chart starting off at the start of the weekend. So I had obviously previous week's high, this daily high, and this low resistance liquidity here. But again, you can keep marking out some higher time from sell side. You got this weekly low right here at 158. You got these weekly lows down here. Again, you have that monthly gap. So, and then obviously if you go down to the daily, you can get a lot more daily lows, but I'm not going to mark it all out right now. I'm kind of just going to wait for that to happen. So obviously, again, what I'm expecting is metals, gold, silver to push higher because that's usually like that's what tends to happen during these war events. Now, again, for NQ, what I'm expecting is obviously a crazy amount of increased volatility this week. I do expect very, very volatile markets, lots of volume. So there should be good opportunities for trading. Just be careful. You're going to be seeing price move very, very aggressively. So you really got to watch out, pay attention. And if you haven't traded during times with like high volatility, you're probably going to want to de-risk. But there's definitely money making opportunities in times like this. So what we can expect here, again, scenario, we gap down, and if we continue to displace lower, we could potentially seek out more sell side. But what I'm thinking eventually, and I don't know when that, reversal will happen, I do think we get a flush lower, we sweep out a ton of sell side, and then we do get a move back to the upside. So like I said, can't really do a lot of analysis when you're not sure exactly how far price is going to gap down and how market's going to respond to that. But what I expect, again, I'm leaning more bearish. I do expect we get a move lower, and if we continue to displace lower, we have a ton of higher time frame sell side. But if we get a move lower and we show recovery back to the upside, then I'm going to be looking to target back to our buy side draws. And the time frame on that is really going to depend. It's yeah, you just kind of got to take it day by day and kind of see what's going on. And I'd recommend you guys to really stay updated on like Twitter and stuff like that to kind of see updates on the news, updates on the situation, so you can kind of assess your risk and stuff from there. So that's kind of what my idea is. New week opening gap. If we continue to displace lower, we have higher time frame sell side. Otherwise, we see a recovery, liquidity sweep, like you see at all of these like big events. You see a liquidity sweep and a push higher. So depends when that's going to happen. But yeah, that's my ideas this week. There's really nothing much else to get into. Now I'm going to go through the news really quick, and I'll tell you guys how I'm approaching pretty much day by day, based on what we have with the news so far. Again, I recommend you guys stay active on Twitter and stuff like that, just so you guys can see, because there's probably stuff you won't see on Forex Factory. So I'll just tell you guys right now what I'm working with right now with the red folders and stuff like that. So starting out on Monday, we have 10 a.m. ISM manufacturing PMI. Now basically how I approach 10 a.m. red folders. Again, if you guys have heard me say it, but if anyone hasn't watch the videos, basically what I do is I look for trades from market open to like 950. And again, market open is probably going to be insanely volatile, but 930 to 950, if I don't catch anything by 950, I'll usually sit on my hands and wait for 10 a.m. news to play out, and then I'll look for something after 10 a.m. news. But I'm trying to look for that something in that 20-minute window, 930 to 950. Again, if there's nothing, then I'll just wait, and I'll let news play out and then go from there. So that's Monday. Tuesday, no major news yet, in case something changes, but this will be a normal trading day at market open for me. Going over to Wednesday, we have ADP non-farm employment, which is just 8:15 news, and then 10 a.m. ISM services PMI, pretty much the exact same scenario as Monday. Look for trades, market open in like 950-ish. If nothing, we'll wait for 10 a.m., let that play out, even though these usually don't do a crazy amount, but just to be safe, you'll notice that news price will chop a little bit before the news sometimes, even if it isn't high, like crazy important news. But yeah, that's usually my plan with that. Going over to Thursday, unemployment claims. This will be a normal trading day at market open. Hopefully we get some good data wicks. 8:30 red folders are my favorite news day because you can usually just get like a data wick, not even a crazy data wick, just a small one, and price will usually tend to trade towards it. So normal trading day come market open on Thursday. And then Friday, obviously NFP, retail sales, unemployment rate, all this at 8:30. So this would be a normal trading day at market open. Again, probably going to be careful. But again, hopefully we get some data wicks to trade towards. But yeah, probably going to keep careful on this Friday. I'm likely going to de-risk just because it is a Friday. I do find like I personally like to de-risk a lot on Fridays now, just because I find I don't like going into the weekend with a loss. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, it's really tough to do this analysis right now just because of we kind of want to wait. But anyway, expecting a move lower, a gap lower, and then potentially a move back higher, or we just continue lower. But we will see what happens. Anyway, this is what I had marked out on my charts right now. I'm really not going to mark anything else because I don't know how much we're going to gap. But we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on like shorts, TikTok, Instagram. I'll probably post another YouTube video anyway this week, or I will with the trade recaps, but I'll maybe go over the news again. If anything changes, I'll maybe post another full video. But that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.